Hello, this is John welcoming you to the 1906th edition of the Enfield talking newspaper, Dateline, the 30th of May 2013. The readers this week are Katherin, Eddie and Angela, with Ian on the controls. The items that we will be reading come from our local newspapers, the Enfield Gazette and Advertiser and the Enfield Independent, and are their copyright. Our title music is Country Rock Polka, composed by Pat Prilly, Fernand Bouillon, Harry Brewer, and performed by Jean-Jacques Perry, and is used with his kind permission. Local stories include the conviction of the murderers of Negus MacLean, the permission for 2 new free schools, and a front door that melted.
2 new free schools have been given the green light to open in Enfield in 2014. Among the 102 schools approved nationally by Education Secretary Michael Gove last week are a primary planned for Meridian Water in Edmonton and a secondary which will be opened by education specialists ARC in North East Enfield. Both schools are expected to open next year. The London Diocesan Board for Schools applied to set up a primary in the Meridian Water area in partnership with the local community. It is hoped the new primary will plug the predicted gap in schools' places as the Meridian Water Regeneration Project gets underway over the next few years. LDBFS Chief Executive Inigo Wolf told the Advertiser, "We are very excited about this approval. Our view is that if you want to regenerate an area like Meridian Water, you need to put in schools and the infrastructure early on in a project so that you can then build a community with some firm foundations." Mr. Wolf stressed that although the LDBFS is a Church of England organisation, the new primary school will have places open to children of all faiths. The LDBFS already runs the Edmonton Annex of St Matthew's Primary School in St John's Churchyard in Dysons Road, Edmonton. It is thought that there will be an additional 810 places provided for Year 7 children in Enfield by 2019, and an ARC spokeswoman said the new school will provide 180 of those places. She added that ARC is working with Enfield Council to identify suitable sites in the northeast of the borough. ARC is set to open the John Keats Academy in Bell Lane, Enfield Wash, in September.
Council chiefs in Enfield have signed up to a homeless charities campaign to get tough on rogue landlords. The campaign, which has been launched by Shelter, is aimed at clamping down on landlords who fall and fail to maintain their tenants' properties, yet are prepared to let them at vastly inflated rates to people desperate for a home. Enfield Council has pledged to take legal action against landlords who are taking advantage of the housing crisis, which has seen demand for homes outstrip supply in Enfield and other parts of London. The council says it will provide those who rent with the support they need to make the complaints to the local authority, and it will inspect properties to make sure they are appropriate homes for renting. This is a scourge which condemns some private sector tenants live in often damp and dangerous conditions, said Council Member for Housing Albert Oikena. We do all we can to encourage responsible and fair landlords, and we will help and advise tenants of their rights.
Residents have been warned to stay vigilant following a spate of burglaries during which Asian jewellery has been taken from homes in Enfield. Police chiefs say that burglars have been striking while residents have been out enjoying family celebrations. They warn that exterior decorations on a home can indicate that the residents are out. Police say that the risk is not confined to Diwali, Eid and during weddings. A spokeswoman said there is a significant risk for those who keep large quantities of gold in their home. Investing in a home safe fitted to the wall or the floor could also prevent a significant loss, or maybe consideration could be given to off-site storage, such as a safety deposit facility. Police are urging owners of gold to keep a photographic record of any valuable items of jewellery. This means that if they are stolen, officers can identify the items and return them more quickly if they are recovered. Detective Chief Inspector Mark Rochester of Enfield Police said, Bespoke items of jewellery are not easily identifiable as they are not marked with serial numbers and in many cases have deep sentimental value. The effects of burglary go way beyond a loss of property. This demonstrates perfectly the need for owners to photograph high-value items in order for police to establish ownership if they are recovered. Our police are working hard to deter burglars. We are conducting both highly visible and plainclothes patrols in key areas and are working closely with businesses that buy second-hand gold. But we still need the community's help to keep opportunities for thieves to a minimum. Please ensure that you lock your doors and windows and don't allow strangers who call unexpectedly to come into your home. Anyone with any information about the theft or the sale of Asian gold should contact their Safer Neighbourhood team by ringing 101 or call Crime Stoppers anonymously on 0800 555 111. That's 0800 555 111.
4 teenage gang members have been jailed for a total of 65 years for the murder of Negus McLean. The 15-year-old Edmonton County School student was stabbed to death in Edmonton in April 2011. Tershine Edwards, 19, of St Albans, and 18-year-old Bilal Lariba of Mayle Close in Enfield, and Brandon Hamilton of Broad Oak Avenue in Enfield were all given life sentences at the Old Bailey yesterday. Travis Bowman, 16, from Enfield, was also sentenced to 12.5 years in prison. Negus, who was a member of the Dem Africans gang, was chased by the teenagers on bicycles in Westminster Road. His younger brother, who was riding on the same bike, was able to escape, but Negus was stabbed to death. Edwards was told he would serve at least 17 years in prison, while Lariba will serve a minimum of 16.5 years. Hamilton will serve a minimum of 19 years. Yasmin Latif, 17, also of Enfield, was found guilty of perverting the course of justice. She was given a 12-month detention and training order. Sentencing, Judge John Bevan, QC, said, "It seems to occur to none of the perpetrators that an attack by 7 or 8 armed and masked on one is cowardly beyond belief. You feel able to operate in some sort of parallel universe in which robbery, theft, drugs and violence are acceptable, unless a member of your gang is the victim, in which case retaliation is necessary to preserve status and what is laughably called respect. This is all because of loyalty to a postcode. It simply creates a vicious circle of anger, misery and death. Lack of moral values lie at the heart of it, and the picture painted before the jury over the past 6 weeks has been infinitely depressing." The judge said the aggravating features of the murder included that the perpetrators were hardcore members of Get Money Gang, a criminal gang, and there had been 8 previous tit-for-tat stabbings. He also lifted a court order banning the identification of a 16-year-old as Bowman and a 17-year-old girl as Latif, who gave Hamilton a false alibi. Bowman, who was only 14 at the time of the murder, came to the UK because of his family's problems with gang violence in Jamaica, the court heard. The 4 teenage killers shouted as they left the dock to begin their sentence. During the 6-week trial, the court heard that Negus was targeted in revenge for the stabbing of a senior figure in the Get Money gang from Enfield a week earlier. The aspiring rapper and his younger brother were out riding their bikes when they were spotted by a hunting posse of 7 hooded youths on bicycles. Negus was chased down the street, knocked to the floor, battered with a pole, and then stabbed repeatedly with such force that the handle of the knife snapped off.
Designers, artists and craftsmen and women in Palmer's Green in Southgate will throw open the doors of their studios to the public next month. It is part of the Open Studios Art Trail, which takes place over the weekend of June the 8th and 9th. Between 10:30am and 6pm on both days, artists will stage demonstrations and workshops as part of a mission to bring art to the High Street. The event, which had its first outing last year, was founded by Dan Mayer, who designs bespoke artwork and installations for interiors. This year, the event will be bigger, with 33 artists taking part in more than 25 venues across Palmer's Green and Southgate. The event has secured financial support from Enfield Council and the Arts Council, and the organisers have worked with high street businesses to find exhibition space. It means work will be on display in cafes, shops and restaurants, as well as the artists' own studios. Dan told the Advertiser, "We were overwhelmed by the response from the public last year. Despite torrential rain and the clash with the Wimbledon final, people turned out in their droves, and we were delighted with the exquisite work they discovered. It is clear there is an appetite for high-quality work in our area. We have an even bigger lineup of talented designers and artists this year, and more retailers are hosting work." Thanks to funding from both the Enfield Residents Priority Fund and the Arts Council, we will be running some free hands-on workshops led by some of the top creatives in their fields. Dan is making a piece which will be on display at Optical Warehouse in Chaseside, Southgate over the weekend. During the Artfield 2-day spectacular, artist Christina Stavronidis will be getting her hands wet when she commandeers a washing machine at Spin City Laundrette in Green Lanes to run felt-making workshops, inspiring those who would like to create their own textiles. Leading artists, including former silversmith to royalty Steve Wager and award-winning portrait artist Helen Mazachak, will stun visitors with their skills. This weekend will feature a host of other genres, including jewellery, ceramics, cabinet making, glass, home accessories, painting and photography. The trail will take residents through Broomfield Park, and there will be official watering holes offering a refreshment along the way. Entry to all the participating venues is free, and a trial guide with all the information about workshops, artists and designers is available in shops and libraries and can be downloaded from www.openstudios.co.com.
And here's an item headline, Drive for Computers. A parent-teacher association swapped pens and paper for putters, woods and irons to raise money for school's new IT suite. The Association of Parents and Friends of Our Lady of Lourdes Catholic Primary School in Limes Avenue, Innes Grove, hosted the 5th Annual Society Golf Day on Friday, May 17th. Chairman Diana Axford of Pims Green Road said it was a wonderful day despite cloudy weather. She said, "It was really fantastic. I played my first ever game of golf and it was absolute corker. We had fewer golfers than we've had in the past, which is a shame, but we still raised a good amount of money, so we are happy. The last time the school's IT rooms were updated was in 2007, so we are living in the past at the moment. The group raised £700 for the primary school and £200 for blood cancer charity Leukemia Care. Participants paid an entrance fee of £50, which bought them a full English breakfast, 18 holes of golf at White Webb's Golf Club in Clay Hill, and a barbecue supper. The overall winner was Ian Oakes, and the golfer with the longest drive was Adel Flanagan.
It is one of the most highly anticipated dates on a gardener's calendar. The Chelsea Flower Show, in all of its natural and man-made beauty, is a celebration of bright, beautiful blooms and avant-garde garden designs, attracting crowds far and wide. For exhibitors, it's a labour of love. Countless months are dedicated to creating the show-stopping plans, sourcing perfect plants, and finding the all-important financial backing. On top of that, there's the weather to contend with. And what for? That highly coveted gold medal. Patricia Therion knows all too well about the trials and the tribulations of the Royal Horticultural Society's annual show. This is the 5th year she and fellow garden designer Janet Honor have exhibited. In previous years, the pair, former students of Capel Manor College, missed out on securing the top prize at Chelsea. But this time it's different. They won gold for their Herbert Smith Free Hills Garden for Water Aid. "I just can't believe it," exclaimed French-born Patricia in a breathless voice. "We're over the moon. All of our hard work has paid off. Never in a million years did we think we'd get gold. Everything has to be perfect. We never thought we'd manage it. We've been disappointed in previous years, but I think in the end that is what pushed us on and why we didn't give up. This year, when we opened the envelope, we were still convinced it would be silver, but it was gold. It was gold. Gold in the artisan category. The pair of us nearly fell over in our heels. It's so special to have won it in the centenary year of the Chelsea Flower Show. We've not stopped celebrating. In fact, we've got still 2 open bottles of champagne to drink. The garden is inspired by the charity work Water Aid does in the areas of India which are prone to flooding. According to Patricia, it reflects the transformation of people's lives that can be brought about by access to clean water and improved hygiene and sanitation. It empowers communities, particularly women and children, and gives them more time to generate income through, for example, market gardens. Covering an area of 7 meters by 4.5 meters, the garden features a house on stilts with a veranda surrounded by marigolds, roses, and hanging garlands. We used 2,500 marigolds in the display, says Patricia, who co-owns A Touch of France garden design with Janet. Marigolds are used a lot in Indian culture and symbolize longevity, which I think is very fitting for the idea behind the garden. I hope people will understand the message behind our design and that it is important to have access to clean water. The work Water Aid does is so important. Clean water and sanitation, it's life. And it seems the duo will be exhibiting next year, provided they have the financial backing. There is so much work to do. There is so much research. It's nerve-wracking, but how could we not? Laughed Patricia throatily. We love the Chelsea Flower Show. It's an incredible experience.
A builder's merchant has been ordered to pay fines and costs totalling more than £17,000 after a man broke his ankle during an accident involving a forklift truck. J.J. Roofing Supplies, based in Hoppers Road, Winchmore Hill, pleaded guilty to 2 breaches of the Health and Safety at Work Act after the accident in its yard last May. The company was fined £12,000 and ordered to pay £5,199 in costs by Tottenham magistrates on Friday. Enfield Council prosecuted the builder's merchant after an investigation revealed staff had not been given a suitable level of training and supervision. Cabinet Member for Environment Chris Bond said, "This was a tragic and avoidable accident which left a member of the public with 2 metal bolts in his ankle. This prosecution sends a strong message that businesses need to take the safety of everyone visiting their premises seriously and make sure their staff are trained properly before using dangerous machinery. The Council is happy to work with companies to make sure their systems are safe, but we will not hesitate to prosecute when their activities can or do endanger staff, customers or other visitors."
Fresh from his spring tour with the Hollies, Peter Howarth will team up with renowned songwriter Michael Armstrong in a showcase of the former's most prized Cliff Richard and Hollies songs. Pretty Woman, Miss Unites and Carrie will be among the songs selected by the Hollies' most recent lead singer, who will also enthrall fans with highlights from the West End show The Roy Orbison Story, in which he starred as the titular character. Peter Howarth Unplugged Tour 2013 is at the Dugdale Centre, London Road, Enfield, on Saturday, June the 8th at 8 p.m. Details www.millfieldartscentre.co.uk.
Barnett and Southgate College has been honoured for its work in supporting students with epilepsy. The college, based in High Street, Southgate, was presented with an Epilepsy Action Award, known as Edward, on Friday during National Epilepsy Week. The Edwards claim to recognise schools and colleges that demonstrate good practice in supporting pupils and students with epilepsy. Barnett and Southgate was chosen due to its effort in supporting one of its students, Susanna Fantoni. All Susanna's teachers were told her about her epilepsy when she started at the college, and staff supported her in a number of ways. With their help and encouragement, Susanna, who has a one-to-one support session once a week, gave a presentation about her condition. Due to her medication, she has memory problems and suffers from fatigue. As a result, staff at the college gave her a dictaphone to record her classes in case she misses something. Susanna's seizures can be triggered by lights and noise, so teachers make sure there is no strobe lighting in lessons and any noise is kept to a minimum. Susanna said, "I'm so pleased that Barnett and Southgate College has been awarded an Edward. My confidence has risen to a level I couldn't have imagined since I joined the college. It is all about the little things here that really make a difference. I know everyone at the college will continue to support me." College Principal David Byrne said, "It's fantastic to be recognised by Epilepsy Action for the support we give to our students. We are committed to making sure every one of our students receives a broad and balanced learning experience, and we will continue to provide the best support possible."
Here is a letter from MD Cox of Pentrick Avenue, who says, "Getting out of hours treatment is a nightmare. After walking a sick friend to her doctor's surgery close by, we found that there were no appointments available. Reception suggested that if she became worse after 6 p.m, then she should try the new 111 number. This became necessary. The reply was quick, followed by a short interlude, and the nurse, or equivalent, taking general questions effectively. Soon after came the promised call back by a doctor. My friend by then was more sick and vague than usual, but tried to state her problems. The doctor became more and more annoyed, and even stated that he should not be wasting his time. I tried to sort out her medication with him, but as I could not pronounce the names on the medication easily, he became more irate, asking me to spell them, but only listened to one before losing his temper completely. He said she should go to the out-of-hours service barn dock at Chase Farm Hospital, and that was all he wanted to make her do from the start. I said that she had no vehicle, but received the answer that she had managed to get to her doctor. Fortunately, a lift was scrounged to the barn dock located at the back of A&E. The outcome of the visit? She was told that if she got any worse, that she should come back and go to A&E. Unfortunately, she collapsed in the corridor while leaving, thus saving a return ambulance journey. Finally, with an actual diagnosis and stabilised for some hours, this at least made the taxi payment to this pensioner's home worth it. This letter only gives a short taste of the disgusting attitude shown. I pity the sick, the old, and in particular, the confused.
A care service preparing to celebrate 40 years is encouraging former residents and staff to help mark its special anniversary. Scimitar Care Hotels Group wants everyone who has been connected with the service to pass on their fond memories in time for the anniversary on Saturday, August the 3rd. Scimitar opened in 1973 in Minchendon Lodge, Southgate, to provide care for the elderly. Martin Gerard, chairman of Scimitar, said, In 1973, there were very few care establishments serving the elderly, and Scimitar is very keen to revisit the experiences and practices of those who have memories of life in 1973 from the perspective of the elderly. To contact Scimitar, email Nadia Banton at nadia.banton@scimitarcare.co.uk or call 01707 665515. I'll repeat that number, 01707 665515.
A man was arrested on suspicion of growing cannabis after a quantity of the drug was discovered during a police raid. Safe and neighbourhood officers executed a drugs warrant on an address in Heddon Court, Cockfosters, last Wednesday after neighbours saw that the front door was melting. A 30-year-old has been released on police bail until a date next month.
Towards the end of November, the level crossing in Lincoln Road, Enfield, was closed due to a damaged gate and was supposed to be shut for 2 weeks. More than 6 months later, it is still closed. This crossing intersects the Enfield Town to Liverpool Street line. Railtrack has blamed Enfield Council, and the council has, in turn, blamed Railtrack. No one has bothered to tell people who live in the area what is going on. Apparently, we don't matter, writes Stephen Knowles of Woodfield Close. He goes on to say, the staff who open and close the gate are still there every day, just operating the pedestrian gate. Would someone have the common courtesy to tell us exactly what's going on, and when the main gate for cars, etc., is going to be operational again? It's not asking too much to ask, is it? We've now reached the end of side 1 of this tape. There are some important announcements at the beginning of side 2. So stop your machine now, take out the cassette, turn it over and start side 2.